When you're picking up a dividend growth equity portfolio for yourself, what kind of dividend stories do you want to hear? Well, largely you want to hear three types of stories. One which has a high dividend payout, like a PSU, which will have a 8%, 9%, sometimes even 11% kind of yield. And you know that this is an amazing yield in the country, where currently we are talking about September 2020. The gilt is about under 7%, about more like under 6%, right? So if you find a company which pays you 10-11% on current market price, it's a fantastic yield. Just lock it in and hope that the company continues to pay that dividend. Please understand, in such cases you are always interested in the absolute dividend. So if you bought a 100 rupee share, let's say you bought Indian Oil at 100 rupees and it is paying you 10 rupees dividend, it means you're getting a 10% dividend yield. Now don't bother as to what is the percentage. If the price goes to 200, obviously you're still getting a 10% dividend yield, assuming that the dividend remains the same. You're still getting 10% on your cost and maybe just 5% on the market price, but that shouldn't bother you. In absolute terms, this is a fabulous deal you have got, and as long as the price does not go below 100, your capital is protected, right? The thing to see is it continuously increasing dividend. So next year, if it is 11%, 12%, you got a fantastic sweet spot where you got a high dividend yield and a growing dividend yield. Assuming for a minute that the growth doesn't happen, even then you got a fantastic dividend yield, because it is very close to double the current gilt yield. So that is a fantastic piece of action that you have got. This is the first one. The second one is companies with a reasonable dividend yield and reasonable growth. You have a company where you got 4% or 5% dividend yield, and you have got a 5% or a 7% growth. Look at the history of that company. If it has always increased it by 5 or 7%, you assume that it will increase by 5 or 7%, which means you got a decent dividend yield. 5% is very good dividend yield, and growing at 5%, which is the rate of inflation. So if it is matching the rate of inflation, that is great. Now you have the third category, where you think the company has got fantastic potential, but right now it is paying 1% or 1.25% as dividend yield on current shares, but you're very sure that the company has fantastic competencies because of which the dividend yield will increase. So that is the third category. Now this could be very useful by the time you turn 40. I'm assuming right now you're 30. So over the next 10 years, this company, the third category that which we are talking about, may perhaps be paying you the highest amount of dividend, not yield, but amount of dividend. And perhaps this is the list of companies which will perhaps show the fastest growth rate also. So the three categories: currently good rate but not growing fast; second, currently decent rate, growing at a decent pace; third, currently not very great but growing at a fantastic pace. You have all the three in your portfolio in an equal measure, especially when you're young. As you grow older, you remove the third category. You say, no, I want good current yield and decent growth. So only criteria 1 and 2. And when you go to the third stage of maybe you're 80, 85, you say, I don't mind, I sell off everything and buy a dividend ETF and keep selling a little bit of share every month to meet my household expenses. Remember, ETFs don't pay dividend. Thank you.